right, ladies and gentlemen, we're live with the most handsome member of Artisan Lab. How we doing, bro?
What's up, bro? How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Good, brother. Good, good. So won't take up too much of your time here. So, Adam, you joined Artisan Lab the first time around. What was that? Maybe 6 to 8 months ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe back in like February or March.
Yep. I know you were just kind of getting started in the info product agency copywriting space. So we can go through your story in a sec, but first I want to ask you, how much are you making right now?
Yeah, right now this month is we're about 2 weeks in and I'm right around 15K. And then have some revenue share deals that should come in before the month ends as well.
Awesome. Awesome, brother. So take me a bit through your story. So for people watching, Adam and I actually played high school basketball against each other. And I think you probably saw me on Twitter and you saw what I was doing. And I know you had a separate business as well. And we connected. You were on my email list, right? I think you
Yeah,
saw
yeah, yeah.
my email list. Um, so just walk me through like your process of kind of finding out about this online money info product space to now being where you are now and working with the clients that you have.
Yeah, dude. So the reason why I kind of really resonated with your content is because I knew you before you had all this success. So it made like what you were doing very real to me. Because like initially I was kind of skeptical of the whole like online money space. But when I saw that you were doing it, I'm like, oh, I played this kid in basketball growing up. Like I know his background and know that like everything that he's done has been a result of the work that he's put in, right? Like you're not just out here posting fake testimonials or your parents are buying you cars, this and that. So I was immediately drawn to that. But I had a little bit of a different kind of like entrepreneur journey than you in a way. Like I played sports in college, went to a good university for 4 years, got a finance degree, and it was very much like, as people like to say, like on the path, right? Like I had a big Fortune 500 internship and was pretty much all set to go post grad until I realized that I hated working in a corporate environment and decided to start my first company out of college. That was like a local service-based business, renting beach chairs, believe it or not, in right outside of Florida. So like that's kind of how I dipped my toe into like making money for myself. And then through that, I kind of got on Twitter, saw what other people were doing, found you and found your email list, and then wanted to get some supplemental income in addition to that business in the off season, right? Because you can't rent beach chairs 24/7. So I kind of
Yeah.
started um, like the whole, you know how you were running marketing for online basketball trainers and we're kind of targeting local businesses that way?
Yep.
I started out just by doing that, bro. Like I was doing the beach chair business, making good money, but wanting to make more. So I was like, reached out to local businesses like auto repair shops, jewelers, med spas, things of that nature to just run their ads and kind of learn that way. And
Yeah.
that's how I made like my first dollar in like the whole online money space and got hooked up on your email list.
Yeah. It's interesting how that works. Like it's very similar for both of us. It's like, oh, wait, I think it's easier when you can see it, when it's like, oh, this is a tangible in real life business. They obviously need more customers. So like, why don't I do lead gen for a business like this? And then you kind of dip your foot in and you're like, oh, wait, this is like there's a whole world that I now am starting to understand. And then you just accumulate more skills and you become more competent. You get on a sales call and you can sound like you know what you're talking about. And then eventually you end up in a position where you can work with some of the top dogs in the info space or in any field.
Right, exactly. Like, and I think the biggest kind of change that I've had in my journey is I started out just charging people like $500 to do their lead gen, like local
Yeah.
businesses, with always the goal of like, hey, how do I get these people to pay me more? And I soon realized like, hey, I want to start doing stuff for like national brands or people who are, selling info to the, entire world rather than just a 10-mile radius around a local auto
Yeah,
shop.
exactly. So you find out about the info space, and then I remember you got your first clients in pretty creative ways. The I talk about that a bit because that's game.
Yeah, dude. So when I was starting out, I was like, man, how do I get in contact with these people? Like, no one was responding to my DMs. I didn't have a huge following on Twitter or anything like that. On Instagram, I mean, I looked like a real person, but they get 1,000 Instagram messages per day. So I actually found this way that you can find people's email addresses on YouTube. Like if you click in their bio, there's like a little like box that you can check that says like reveal email address or whatever. Um, and not everyone has it, but there are a couple of big creators who had that listed in their bio, to where I essentially then just started reaching out to people via cold email and really using the outreach method that you talk about in Artisan Lab. And that's when I actually started getting on sales calls with like competent people who are already making money, who could afford to pay me high retainers. Because I think I really focused on just sending like quality over quantity.
Yeah,
And instead of just like spamming a bunch of pitches, I think the biggest skill that I learned in Artisan Lab was like how to actually become a well-rounded marketer, where like not everyone needs a VSL or not everyone needs a webinar. But being able to like identify those levers inside a business first and then structure your pitch towards that person based on what you can see is going to very obviously help them.
totally, bro. That's it. It's like you have to be crafty in a way where you're finding their contact information and reaching out, and then you have to stand out from all the little kids that are reaching. But it's not hard. Like it's not a
Yeah.
difficult thing to do if you are competent and if you'll take the time to, actually dig into their business and see what you could potentially help them on. And I think that's the beauty of learning copywriting and marketing in general is you are so versatile. Like you can pitch email, you can pitch VSL, you can pitch a webinar, you can pitch whatever. And you've done a really good job of like finding that entry point with different clients.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I think like because like I said, I already had one business out of college that was making money. So when I wanted to find another avenue to add to that income, like I was met with a ton of different options, like being on Twitter, like people are drop shipping, they're doing Amazon FBA, they're doing copywriting. And I was always skeptical of like, well, these things could not so much with copywriting, but drop shipping, Amazon FBA. I'm like, this whole entire game could change in the next like couple of years. But what I really liked about your content and how you are making your money is you really didn't sell anything for a super long period of time. And what you're doing for your clients was a skill that's going to be around for decades. Really, and like what you learn in the Artisan Lab is how to actually become a marketer. Like you're not teaching copywriting, you're not teaching just webinars, you're not teaching just one method. It's learning how to actually become a well-rounded marketer to where it doesn't matter if you're going to a B2B business or you're going to an info business, you're going to an e-com business. Like if you learn the principles of direct response marketing, you can essentially go into any type of business and make them more money. And that's why I thought that your vehicle that you were teaching would be, kind of the best for what I was looking for.
100%. Super well said, bro. Like it's easy to think, oh, I'm going to start this business model and that's going to be the thing that makes you money. But you don't really realize until you're into it, it's not the business model, it's the skill set. And, like you said, you had other businesses before. So you had some kind of skill set that you built up from that. Even if it doesn't directly translate to the new business, it's just like a general understanding of business and marketing and how to generate demand and close deals. How many clients are you working with right now?
So right now on my own, I still have like all of those local businesses that I started out with, which is nice. So I have probably about like 6 of those. I have 2 agencies that I'm doing white label stuff for. And then I'm also working with about like 3 info clients as well. So a handful, I would say like 10 plus usually on every given month. Now it's just kind of the game of how do I get those retainers higher, you
Yeah,
know?
that's the exact situation I was in. Like I was looking at my numbers and my client list from like early or mid 2022 to like early 23. And I would have like a dozen clients, but I'd really make the majority of my money from like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt to like have a couple $500 a month clients or a couple $1,000 a month clients. It's like still on autopilot. You don't really have to think about it. And then as you progress, it's like, okay, now I have a 10K a month client. I can let some of these people go. And then it just gets easier and easier to continue leveling up. Like you're gonna get to that 30, 50K a month mark in no time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, to me, like the whole like cutting clients is like the client, those $500 clients that I have on retainer now, I'm not spending the same amount of time as a client who's paying me 3K a month. And those clients now have been with me for like almost like 2 years, bro. So I've been able to have like kind of establish a really great relationship with them and see a direct impact on their business. And that's something that I feel like people don't talk about as much in the space is like the feeling that you get when you actually can see the results that you generate for someone, like even if it's just like a local auto repair shop. Like I watched him just starting to open his business and not knowing how he was going to pay his bills next month, to where like now he has to hire more lot technicians. He has to, he has more money than he even knows what to do with. And being able to get those type of results for people, I think is also a really good feeling that I know. I mean, some of the results that you get for your clients are crazy. So it has to feel good getting those testimonials from people.
Totally, bro. And not only does it feel good, but it like gives you confidence in yourself and your own ability to get results for people. And then on the other side of it, especially in info, like if somebody's selling a good, legitimate coaching program, you're changing kids' lives. Like
Right.
that will be likely the most impactful thing that you do in your life. And to be able to have a small part in that is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Uh, my next question for you is with the you said three info clients that you're working with right now. What type of services are you doing for them, and what does that deal structure look like?
Yeah. So for the clients that I'm currently working with, one of them is doing a webinar. So that just looked like a one-time setup fee and then revenue shares on all of the webinars. And then also just like some email list management stuff. And then the other two, um, one of them was in more of like a hobby niche. So I just set up a low ticket funnel for him, which I found if it's not like make money online type products and more of that, you're not going to see a direct monetary outcome from this, but it's going to fulfill like that hobby desire inside of you. The low ticket funnel is doing really well for him. It actually allowed him to quit his regular day job, and now he's just focused on selling that. So it's like another win that has been good to see. And then the last one was just a book a call funnel, because he doesn't have a huge audience, but he had an email list of like 300 people, and just in the first month we did 20K for him. And that was something where I was originally not going to do a book a call funnel, but being in the Artisan Lab, I talked to you about it and you're like, no, dude, this would actually work a lot better. And because of that, I was able to kind of go in and get a head start from day one and get a super great case study out of him.
That's awesome. And yeah, it's interesting, like especially when they have the high ticket's almost always the way. Like high
Mm-hmm.
ticket, book a call. There are exceptions, obviously, and like you said, if it is something that isn't like a monetary benefit, then it's going to be hard charging somebody 5 grand to learn how to knit or something random like that. Um, but if it is like a more sophisticated audience, and even if it is only 300 people on the list, like you can still extract money out of that. Um, Next question for you. For the client, or based on all the clients that you have now, I know you have a good amount. How much are you working on average per day?
For actual client work, I would say probably around like 4 hours. And I spend a lot of time on some of my other businesses and a lot of time just doing outreach and trying to get better at my own skills as well. So I'd say it's like pretty half and half. If you look at like a 40-hour work week, I'd say half of that is going directly towards actual client fulfillment. And then the other half of that is going just like trying to get more clients, trying to grow my other businesses, and then just trying to become a better marketer by watching some of the self-recorded content in Artisan Lab, hopping on calls with you and other students, people that you bring in each week to talk. So that takes up some time as well.
Awesome. You like it more than the corporate route?
Yeah, dude, it's way better. I mean, I can
Okay.
work from anywhere in the world. I can go see I don't live next to my family, but I can go back I've never missed any family event that, like anytime my brother has a big sports game, like I'm always going back to Cincinnati. Like this
Mhm.
Monday night, the Bengals play in Cincinnati. And I know it's like the whole like normie thing watching sports, but I actually love watching the Bengals play with my
Me too,
family.
bro.
So like I'm going to the Bengals game this Monday night and I don't have to worry about like oh, like I have to take like a day of PTO, like I'm leaving to go back to Cincinnati to watch the game. So just like having the autonomy to do what I want and be able to still make money from really anywhere, I think has been the biggest thing for me. And like also not having to answer to anyone. You know, like if I want to go to the gym in the middle of the day because it's less crowded, I can go to the gym when I want and do my fulfillment after dinner. Like it really doesn't matter.
Yep. That's the best part about it, bro. And especially like once you, and you've kind of been in it for a good bit now, but once you really start to taste that freedom, you're like, damn, I could never go back. Like,
No, I couldn't. I like couldn't go back. And what I found is I still really like having a routine. Like my day to day looks pretty much the same because I find that that's like a little bit of a byproduct of loving what you do. Like I genuinely love sitting at my desk and like doing outreach, or maybe not so much doing outreach, but like doing fulfillment for clients. Like the whole the business model that we're running is something that I find really interesting and I enjoy spending time on it. So I like having that structured routine to my day, but I love how it's not the traditional corporate routine of like waking up at 7 a.m., putting on a button down, riding a hot, sweaty train, going to sit in a cubicle and
yep.
going home. Like that sucks to me. And there's so much more to life than that. That like we're so young, like I'm 25 or even younger than I am, and there's so much more to life than just being like, okay, well, this is going to be my day every day for the next 30 years until I can retire. Like there's so much more to life than that. And, you know, to have that figured out at this point is a good
Totally.
feeling.
Well said. It like it really opens up your eyes to how much how much you can do in life. Like you kind of have to get the money thing off the table first before you can fully experience life. Because I think if that's always a worry, how am I going to put food on the table? How am I going to provide? Like I can't leave this job because that is my main source of income. And if I didn't have this job, then it's not going to be good things. But once you get control of that, it opens your eyes to what you actually want. And that is what actually living feels like. It's being able to kind of objectively think about your life. Like, okay, do I want to go from 15K a month to 100K a month and experience what that's going to be like? Or maybe eventually you get to a certain income number and you're like, okay, I'm happy at this number. Like I can just go and side quest and explore and develop other parts of my character. Um, Last question I have for you, brother, is what is the biggest lesson that you've learned so far from starting where you were to where you are now?
It's a good question. I'd say the biggest thing that I've learned is probably just like to trust your intuition on things. Like I remember when I was a senior and all of my friends were moving to like a big city to work and big corporate jobs, right? Like it was very easy for me to go that route. Like I already had an offer that would make me a good amount of money. But the biggest lesson that I've learned is like something inside of me just told me that I had something out there different from me. You know, like there was a different path that I should be on. Like something inside of me was telling me not to go down that route, and listening to that and kind of pursuing to what I felt in my heart was the right decision, even though it was hard and I had to move to a city where no one else lived, and really do the unconventional thing. I think that that's made a huge impact on my life to where now looking at where I am, like we already said, like I can essentially go wherever I want. Like the whole money thing is off the table, and trusting that intuition to join Artisan Lab too, right? Like there are other coaching programs that I was considering, but something really resonated with you specifically as being the coach because like we had that background growing up. I knew what you were doing was real. I knew your testimonials were true, and I knew that like the lifestyle that you were living wasn't because you were just like shilling this coaching program, right? Like you're actually getting real results and running a real business before you started coaching people. So I just trusted in my heart, like, man, I'm making a little bit of money right now, but this is a financial commitment that I need to make in order to get to that next level, trusting that feeling and putting that money in a place that could kind of multiply. I
Mhm.
think that's been the biggest lesson of like, even when stuff feels really hard and feels like a little bit unconventional and you aren't sure about it, Like there'll be that voice inside of you that just tells you to go for it, and being able to kind of rip the band-aid off and listen to that voice has been the biggest lesson that I've learned, like post 3 years out of college, really.
Totally. Beautifully said, bro.
Yeah.
If you asked me the same question, I probably would have said something similar. So
Yeah. And like the older you get, the harder ripping that band-aid off gets as well,
mhm.
you know? So like for people who are watching this, like the younger that you are, like there'll never be a time that's easier to rip off that band-aid than right now.
Yeah, that's a good urgency angle for copy too.
Yeah.
Adam, you're the fucking man. This has been great. Um, if you guys want to follow Adam in his journey, I know you're on Twitter. What's your handle?
Adam Wiz _
Okay, I'll link you in the description as well. Ladies and gents, if you're watching this, hit the link in there. Join Artisan Lab or be poor forever. Peace.
Go. Appreciate you, Ben.